Good afternoon. I hope everyone is having a nice summer. I'm very excited to introduce you to my friend, Eddie Brown. No relation, but we do share the same last name. We met at USC co-op program, and he's a Lend trainee graduate in 2023. He encouraged me to apply for Lend, and I was and he, and was a good support person over the past year. Eddie just graduated from the co-op program in the spring, and I will be graduating next December. Congratulations, Eddie.
Thank you, Bridget.
You're welcome. He is doing some really great things in his life, and that is why I invited him to be on my vlog for this month of June. Eddie, I'm so excited to talk with you today. How is your summer going?
My summer's going great. Just been busy because I'm trying to put more hours into my job and just doing the best that I can and trying to make the best of it and trying to apply to Harper so I can finish my degree actually in just general fine arts in associate's degree. And so that's kind of my leeway kind of into like the summer a little bit. And I'm just excited to actually put my name, put my face a little bit more out there for people to, put a name and face together.
Wow, that's wonderful. That's exciting. Do you have any trips planned for the summer?
Trips planned for the summer. No, I sadly do not. I wish, but if I do go somewhere, it's probably like work related. And so what I do is I work for GLASA, and is short for the Great Lakes of Adaptive Sports. And so we help athletes over across like 100 different sports with like sled hockey to wheelchair basketball to like bocce is it's bocce ball, but they do it a little bit more differently, which I appreciate. And so so like when you play sports around here, like you travel to town or like maybe drive down to the city of Chicago. But like some of these athletes that I work with, they have like bigger tournaments, and instead of doing like weekend based, they do one weekend, 3 games, and it's like from like Minnesota, Wisconsin, or like Florida, or like Alabama. So like if I am going somewhere, it'll be definitely one of those places, but not yet right now.
Um, could you also share with me and a lot about the work that you do with Paralympics? Can you tell us more about the work that you're doing with them?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So right now, um, we're just right now we are doing wheelchair football, and that's one of my favorite ones to do. And I help athletes making sure that they're prepared, like their sports equipment is prepared, as well as making sure like the equipment gets there on time, and making sure like the being a self advocate towards them, because I was just talking to somebody just last night about it, that I can't believe I've been working there for 4 years. And a couple of people who are there now has bigger roles than I do, but I have more not I just been there a bit longer, and it just surprised me every time. But um what I do for them is that like I'm like traveling or stuff like that, they can always come to me and say like, "Hey, can you help me with this?" Or "Hey," like they feel comfortable versus somebody else that they are not familiar with, and they can like joke around and like be a little bit more comfortable around somebody like me and so like they don't need to bring their family members, and it's just that nice outlet for for them to reach out to me and say like, "Hey, I need this. Can you grab this for me?" And so it's really nice for what I do. And so work mostly for adults, but I'm trying to get into kids. I'm trying to work with a little bit more with kids because they are um, not as vocal as some of the adults, but that they are slowly on getting there and to gain their trust and make like that's just the best feeling in the world where somebody asks and just needs some help and I can help them.
That's wonderful that you're doing that. That's that's a huge thing, you know.
Absolutely.
Um, can you tell us how you got started with looking?
Yeah, sure. So I started at for UIC in 2020, I believe. I can't remember. But when I started, some person there um, was emailing out my resume and I wanted to go into sports, so I tried Dare to Try, the Shari Ryan's Lab, Gigi's Playhouse. I'd done a lot of shadow tutoring over there for a few years, but then I found Glassa and I did more and more. I tried out one of them when like after class one day I tried archery and I was just amazed on what they were capable of. Like first time I ever did it, um, it was really unbelievable. There was a girl who actually shot a bow and arrow with her teeth. And so, because her arms was not strong enough. And so, like, that was amazing for what they have done and is just phenomenal. And try to get more and more involved, and they need me more and more. And now I've been there for 4 years, and I've been doing a lot more sports, and the athletes know me quite well, and we're getting more and more athletes, which is always good to see. And new faces. And just last week, I think we been in the news actually, and I can send you the link if you want me to, Bridget, after the end of this actually, because it was fantastic. And the girl who was speaking there, she was amazing. She did sled hockey for the first time, and this is her first year ever working for, not working, but like doing glasses stuff. And she cannot live without it, which is fantastic.
Wow, that's really interesting. I never know that this was happening. I never know there was a program called Glass. That's really amazing. Do you love looking? Do you love the job that you have?
Yeah, I really do. I really do enjoy what I do, and that's kind of why I in the field that I am in now, really, just because um just people with disabilities always get looked down upon and saying like, "Hey, you can't do this." And all these athletes, they do, they probably have similar stories, than each other and stuff like that. And it's just nice because there was an area that they feel safe, comfortable, and they can compete at a really good high level, which is amazing. And you know that they don't even know that it existed, or not a lot of people knew it existed. And me helping beginners on how to work a wheelchair to knowing the sport a little bit is just amazing, and just like what they can do.
Wow. That's amazing. What did you like about the co-op and land?
Co-op and land. Um, hmm. Definitely co-op. I done some classes that I wouldn't do on my own, which is amazing, and how adaptive they are. So like I can actually take college courses, which is amazing that I always love to do with like little resources that I need and still succeed in my classes. And that's something that I wish colleges were a little bit more of and kind of adapt in a way, and is amazing because I went to a couple different colleges, and so it's amazing that what co-op did because you could go to college and take college classes and versus like a transitional program and stuff like that that I not necessarily need, but that's always good to have that resources available. And then for Lend, that I really enjoyed was all these disciplines and stuff like that. Because like for me, kind of going into it, I was like, I don't think anybody will listen to me because I'm just a self advocate. These people are trained professionals and they are very good at what they do. And like police officers, firefighters, I couldn't like no one would have taken me seriously. But really land really showed me like the wet like that land really showed me that people will listen and will actually want to listen to your experiences because you know something that not everybody knows about, and to actually like live through it or experienced it from somebody else's lens is amazing. Because what I tried to do with Lend was every week what I did was taking the material from the class and actually putting it into my job and asking some of the athletes kind of tougher questions that they really haven't really think about really, and they always and try and challenge them in that way, and they were really stunned about that, and and I got some pretty unique results with it, and it's just amazing to me.
It is really amazing that you showed that. Thank you for sharing it. So, can you tell us a little bit about your story? Like,
uh
where?
my my
Sorry,
di-
but
my disability and what else.
oh, I was asking if you could tell a little bit about your story. Where did you go to school, and what was your past experience, your hobbies, and other fun things about your journey?
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in a wealthy area. I used to go to Glenbrook South High School, and and kind of my disability was I had a hearing disability, and so I was born with it, and so I had inserts inside my ears to help me hear. And I'm just right. I haven't taken a hearing test. I should, because I had surgery about a year and a half ago, and after 6 months after the recovery, I should take a hearing test. But and to test it, and so I had 15 surgeries my entire life, and I used to go to Mayo Clinic a lot, so kind of my story with that is that when I was in high school, not a lot of teachers really believed that I can succeed, and they were holding my hand way too much. Like for example, like I really excelled in math, and so in math I was learning pre algebra, calculus level math, and I was teaching people, and I was teaching tutoring kids down in like the library, the to actually help people study for college and stuff like that. But in my level of math that I was doing in my homework assignment was just normal, just normal multiplication. And so they kind of hold me back in that way. And because I had a disability in my disability, they didn't think that, oh, I could have moved past a disabilities class or course. And but every single time when they tried to put me, they were hesitant on putting me in other classes. I over excelled in every single one of them, and they still didn't push me to my limits, and which I wish that they had, because I think that I think I would have been differently where am today, but I try to not think like that because it made me the person who I am today. And it's just amazing because, you know, that all those bad experiences that I had or faced and stuff like that actually made me the person who I am today. And I cannot take that away from me. And, you know, and kind of going into college a little bit more. And three of my counts, no, not three, five college counselors told me, they told me directly in my face, told me that I didn't have a shot to go to college. And none of my teachers believed me and stuff like that. And so I went to college. I went to Harper for a year and a half. COVID hits. I went to UIC. And then after UIC, I'm going to have a year and a half left of Harper, which I'm very excited for.
Wow, that's amazing. I can't believe you went through all that. That's really encouraging. So, who are some of your champions you have met in your life?
Some like champions, what do you mean?
Yes.
Can you please like elaborate that question?
So, champions is like a person who fights for or defends a person, a protector, advocate, and warrior. That's what a champion means. And I just want to know who in your life that you recognize that are friends that are your champions. That's what I meant.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely say my parents. My mom she found the co-op program for me. She found it. She would really, um, I was unsure at first, you know, about the co-op, but she persuaded me and I tried it and I couldn't be any more thankful for her and her in my life because she was always in my corner fighting for me and same with my dad as well. My sisters that they are always supportive with me. Um, Somebody who I work with, you know, and stuff like that, that he always fights for me because at work, which is fantastic, and one of my also good buddies from um, grammar school that I used to went to, and I knew him since preschool and pre-K, which and I'm still best friends with him, and me and him hang out like every single week. And you know, I have three older sisters, and he's a brother to me. And so when I was in school and stuff like that, you know, I check in with my teachers a couple times a week, and they always like, oh, hey, how's your sister and how's your younger brother, which he's a year younger than me, but people always think that me and him are brothers, which I always tell people that I have a brother in that way, and it's amazing, and I do everything with him, and you know, and he also has a disability, more like learning disability and more cognitive disability versus and but like you isn't invisible, but we help each other out. And so he's in different programs and stuff like that. And he fights for me as much as I fight for him.
Wow, that's a really good friend that helps you a lot. So that's great. You are an amazing advocate. Can you tell us about us what you think are important things advocates need to know?
Hmm.
If you need me to explain it, I can if you want me to.
You're all good. It's just a good question, and I just really haven't. I mean, I thought about it and stuff like that, but no one has asked me that question since when I was in Lend, and that was just a while ago. But the importance of having having an advocate is, I'm trying to put this, it's like having a friend in a way where you can share anything you want, and that person could be that role model or that centerful to help you to elaborate what you need and what you want. Like for example, like sometimes when I couldn't hear or something like that, sometimes my friends say, "Hey, can you speak out louder?" He can't hear because he knows me very well and he knows my body language. And it just knowing that person or knowing that is just amazing, as well as just the full understanding of, you know, needs and wants and to somebody's needs and wants to that person, but as well as kind of also very important to being a self advocate is that sometimes it's hard to understand that person to like the fullest if you don't know that person very well, and like you don't want to get them upset, angry, like you just don't want to get them um like angry at you. But if you talk to like a self advocate for that person who knows that person very well, you can elaborate, or you can they can tell you what they're really feeling or what they're really thinking about, and it just makes it life easier for that person as well as that self advocate. If that makes any sense, I kind of looped it a little bit.
It's okay, it does make sense. So what advice would you give to other self advocates who are watching this vlog?
Ooh. What advice I would give to that person is that whatever you are doing and being a self advocate, it for me is the most meaningful job in the world, because not a lot of people could understand how amazing it is to be a self advocate, and to have that experience and having that knowledge is something that you can take life skills across any kind of relationship that you have. It could be a friend, it could be somebody you're trying to get close with, a spouse, or whatever, and fully understanding that is something that is very meaningful, and a relationship that you can last a lifetime. And that is just something that it's amazing. Like one person who I know, I do track and field with a lot of these para athletes, and before every single race they have like a saying, and I forgot what that saying was, but they always say it's before every single race, and those two are not like close. They know each other, but they outside of track and field, they don't see each other or anything like that. But that girl has told me many times that she uses that saying before she's starting like a test or a hard quiz, and just start it's just some it's like starting something. And that person who was running taught her as much as she's teaching him, and that's something that's amazing and special.
What would you tell people when they're discouraged?
Tell people, just when people are discouraged, just hang in there, Take a day at a time, take an hour at a time, and if you're discouraged, sometimes it's okay to be discouraged, but patience is like the best thing I can say to people who are discouraged because sometimes they have a bad day. You just don't know what that person's day is, and it can like cycle. Like if somebody's having a really, really bad day, you don't know who or what triggered that, and you don't want to let that affect you. And then if that affects you, you might affect somebody else, which you don't necessarily want. And so if you try to stop that like trigger, at, no one else will be affected by it, if that makes any sense.
It does make sense. Thank you for sharing that. And one last question. What are your future goals and dreams?
Ooh. Future goals and future dreams. So right now, when I am turning 24 next month, and so what my future goal when I was in high school, when I was 16 years old, every single paycheck that I've ever owned, I always invested in it. So when I turn 30, I want to own my own lake house on a small town and kind of when I'm 30, I want to make sure I have that house, make sure I am secured and stuff like that, as well as start my own family. So that's kind of my long-term goals, but more my short-term goals are just finishing up school because that's always challenge number one. Because right now I have a full-time job and it takes a lot of time out of me, but at the same time it's very rewarding and I do get good hours and stuff like that. But now starting in the fall and stuff like that, starting school, there's like another little layer on top of that. Whereas school is good, but having a full-time job is balancing the two is just going to be pretty interesting for me this fall, actually.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing and thank you for coming.
Well, thank you, Bridget. It's always nice to see you, as always.
We
Yeah,
will talk soon.
will do. Well, thank you for having me, Bridget, and I will send you the link right after this call is over.